Halloween Ends.
Yes.
It's the new Halloween film.
The new David Gordon Green joint.
The new David Gordon Dean joint.
Director of Your Highness.
He's back.
And The Sitter.
He made some great films.
Mm-hmm.
Halloween 2018 was good. It was a sequel to...
Great, I'd say. I really like 2018.
I really liked it. Halloween Kills. Not so great.
It definitely has its moments. I think cool kills.
That's cool. That's nice.
Always nice. Always nice. Some cool little bits here and there.
Isn't there an angry mob in that one?
There's an angry mob.
Yeah.
And they like cause a mentally ill person to jump off a window.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, there's like a scene where like the angry mob sees like a guy who escaped from like the same mental asylum as Michael, and I guess they all think he's Michael, and then like Laurie's like trying to stop them, and then he like talks to like the guy and it's like, hey, like come on, it's okay, and then the guy like jumps out of a window and dies because then he dies, and then a guy comes over, looks at the person, and then goes like, Michael turned us into monsters. And it's such a stupid scene. Like, that film is an interesting idea of like the town turning into a mob.
Yeah.
Because of Michael just sending them all fucking out of control, but done in the most stupidest way possible.
Yeah, and this film kind of continues that.
It continues it, but I would say it does it slightly better because it's braver.
I think this is another film where I think spoilers are really important to talking about it.
It's kind of impossible because the trailers have been very... I wouldn't say the trailers have been secretive, more so that they've just lied.
Yeah.
The
trailers paint the film as a 2-hour-long fight scene.
The trailers have essentially... Most of like the Laurie and Michael stuff that's in the movie was basically shown in the trailer. Yeah. Pretty much most of it.
The whole final fight scene basically was the trailer.
Yeah, like they really like, because the posters are all about that, and it's all about, the
which is fair enough, because the rest of the movie isn't really a finale. It kind of is. So where I'm at with it is the film is obviously continuing this theme of Michael has destroyed the town, and that Michael's presence still lingers over everyone, and so this idea...
Michael's still like a spectre in like the town of Haddonfield.
And it's kind of this idea that the town needs a bogeyman. The town needs someone to be scared of, and needs someone to fear, and needs someone to kind of put up on this pedestal of an evil being.
Yeah. It's like this never-ending cycle of like evil has to exist, but also the trauma. Yeah. And that's how like the trauma, like the generational trauma of Haddonfield is what makes these people who they are.
So that evil needs to exist, and so they need to create this evil even if it's not actually there. So that's what they do with this kid Corey, who accidentally kills a little kid, who is just the biggest shit. I've never watched a kid die and gone, that fucking kid is such a little asshole. He is a little asshole.
He's such an asshole for no reason. Then when he fucking splats on the floor, I was like, fuck you. You get what you deserve.
So the town turns against Corey. Yeah. And it's a Joker moment.
Well, they do.
Some people turn against Corey.
Some people turn against him, but it's more so people just give him looks.
Yeah. When I say the town turns against, I don't mean like bloody mobs.
Like no one's like throwing bricks in his house.
But they do kind of paint him as this villain.
People look at him a certain way when they see him.
And so it continues this idea that evil is forever.
There's always like a figure of evil in there.
And Corey in some very unsubtle ways, obviously slowly becomes... I say slowly. He pretty quickly becomes evil.
That's kind of the problem that's probably the main problem with the film. Yeah. Like first off is, so the film's it's just under 2 hours.
Yes.
And I would say I don't think it feels its length, but that's not necessarily in a good way.
The first half is edited. It is the cinematic embodiment of a stroke.
Yeah,
and I stand by that.
It's really messy. I think what it is I feel like it's a film that's definitely been a bit of a mess in the editing bay because there are very like, because I actually do like some of the scenes, say, of Laurie just living her life.
Oh,
because
yeah,
I think a lot of those scenes,
I think those scenes though, I think are shot and edited in
the very weirdly edited. But I think what a lot of it is that I think a lot of it harkens back to, I think, David Gordon Green's like early indie days, where he was just, because he started off as a filmmaker who was, I think, was very just improvised.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, like let's just do like not mumblecore, but sort of like it, where it's very just, oh, you know, people just talking, living their life and stuff, and it's like, and I think he was trying to channel some of that energy into this one, where it just comes to Laurie, and I do think some of those scenes, there's a certain charm to them. Yes. I think more in the sense of, I just like to see Laurie Strode as a character outside of the usual, you know, oh, Michael Myers is gonna go and stab her.
And so it's a bit annoying that these scenes are suffocated by Corey.
Yeah, and
who is a character that feels like he is in the wrong film.
I actually don't think he's a bad character. I'd argue, I think he's a very interesting character.
Same.
I just think the problem,
this film, it's two films.
Yeah.
It's a finale to the Halloween franchise.
And it's
also at the same time a reboot of the Halloween franchise.
It's that, and it's also David Gordon Green, Danny McBride, and all the writers of this movie trying to make their own version of like a Rob Zombie Halloween movie.
Well, that's what I mean. I think
it's trying to be something else. Yeah. It's trying to be another movie entirely.
Until the end of the film, where Corey dies and Michael Myers dies, I genuinely thought this film was not actually going to be an ending to the franchise. I thought it was going to be an ending to the Michael Myers chapter of the franchise, and that they were going to create Corey as the new villain.
Which I feel, you see, and that's kind of the problem, is that a lot of the film is Corey, after all this time, eventually kind of snaps. Yeah. Because one day, like this like gang of kids who keeps like harassing him.
They are the most movie
children who throw him like off a bridge like accidentally, and he falls down, and then he ends up in like a sewer where Michael is living now, I guess.
Yeah.
And then from there, I guess they have a bit of like a psychological link, because there's a scene where Michael,
we unfortunately never really see develop.
I think what they're trying to imply, and I definitely do think there's more Michael.
I think the problem is, I think it's so quick.
Yeah, because what happens is like all of a sudden Corey is getting like choked out by Michael, and Michael's like,
and
like
there's flashbacks,
and then there's flashbacks, and Michael like looks into his eyes, and like there is, and I will say this, I do think this one, even though the editing's weird, I would say I actually think this is the best looking and best, like, most unique one of Taser, because I really like some of the shot work in it, and I really like the shot of like when Corey's getting like choked, when you can see in his eye like Michael and stuff, and it looks really cool. Like there's some really cool shots in it, and like so just really nice like cinematography, and like so then that happens. They end up, you know, like I guess having this link where Corey's bringing people to Michael, and then Michael's killing them, and then at one point they're just teaming up.
They become the Avengers.
Like they start like teaming up and killing people together.
Corey starts wearing a scarecrow mask.
Like Corey like will
also at the same time Corey's fucking Jamie Lee Curtis's granddaughter.
So there's also that as well, where I guess,
look, good girls like bad boys.
So I have a question about that.
Yeah.
Did Laurie know about Corey's history? Because one thing I find weird in the movie is Corey is introduced into like the Strode family, but at least from my impression, Laurie didn't really know who he was.
But then at the same time seems to know who he is.
But then all of a sudden it's like, oh wait a minute, and like I won't like, cause the scene where Laurie and Corey like meet, to me, Laurie and Corey, they seem to. To me, at least like in my eyes, in that scene, Laurie doesn't know who he is. She just sees a guy who's getting harassed.
So otherwise, it's a weird person to set up your granddaughter with.
Because then she brings like exactly. That's what I mean. Is like why would Laurie set her own daughter up with granddaughter with a fucking potential like
child killer?
Oh
especially like what she knows about. You know what I mean? Like her history with killers.
Yeah, imagine like your nan or like your mum just goes, hey, like you know, I just saw this kid on the streets. His name's Jeffrey Dahmer, like, or like Ted Bundy, like
No, literally, it's a really weird development.
It is a weird one because it seems like she does know who.
They're trying to. I mean, it's.
Because doesn't Rory in the beginning of the film, doesn't she go to the house where that kid died, where Corey's like thing was? Because there's that shot where like she seems to be there, and then there's that shot of like Corey in the car like going away. Now I'm assuming they didn't see each other. I assume not, but at the same time,
I don't know.
And that's what I mean. There's little things like that throughout the film, where it seems like in the editing bay, it might have been a bit cut up, and because of that, there is definitely a weird flow to it.
There's definitely a 2.5 hour version of this film that exists,
which genuinely I would like to see, because I do actually think that could actually be good.
Well, no, exactly.
If there's a complete version of it, because I would say for the most part, I wouldn't necessarily say it's a bad movie. I enjoyed it. I was always engaged.
Yeah,
I liked,
definitely.
It was always engaging. It was never boring. Never a dull moment.
Sometimes I felt if I looked away and missed about 15 developments.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, fucking hell. But like, I would say I was never bored. I will say with Halloween Kills, I do like Halloween Kills for the most part, just because of the silliness and stuff. But I would say I do think that film is long. Yes. It gets long in the tooth. But like, I would say with End, it doesn't feel its length because it's so crazy with like its editing. But I do think there probably is a cut of ends that's really good. That flows quite nicely, and chances are would probably be a really good film. Because I do think there's interesting ideas, and I do think there is kind of a problem where I do think like having Corey in this film is really weird, because why wasn't he in the other ones? And I think that's the problem. I get it because he's just a guy, but I think the problem is that
I mean he's a pretty bloody important guy.
Yeah, but it's one of those. It's like it's weird to just introduce this character all of a sudden,
and then have him be the main character of the film.
And then where it's like
who's in it more than Laurie, more than Michael Myers, and
where it's like I think if the film maybe like I don't know either done it differently, because like it's a weird one because
I think thematically he lines up perfectly. I think as in a finale film, I think if this was just another Halloween film,
but
I think it would have been fit perfectly.
Yeah, I mean, because because I think there's echoes of like, I mean, obviously like with like Friday the 13th, like they did something similar where like at one point they killed off Jason, but then the movie they done after was a new person, I guess, who took on the mantle.
Yeah, and
that's
obviously it would need a bit of shuffling around.
But it's like, but it's one that way. Like I feel like with these like David Gordon Green movies, I think it's interesting because it feels like David Gordon Green, even though he's made a trilogy, he's made 3 different movies.
Yes.
Almost, where like Halloween 2018 is like the simple sequel to Halloween.
Yeah.
You know, the original. Dead simple, very, very, very much Carpenter, like nostalgia.
Yeah.
Very much inspired by that. And then he does that. Then he does Halloween Kills, which feels like David Gordon Green making like an 80s Halloween movie. Like the more like the late 80s era, like Halloween 4, 5, 6, like all those. And then this is like his attempt of making a Rob Zombie Halloween movie.
Yeah.
Not as wacky as those, but more in the sense of taking a swing. Taking much more bigger swings, and it's not just Michael Myers killing people again.
Yes.
Which
it's Corey killing people.
Now it's Corey killing people.
Those kills are amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I will say there's some really cool kills. There's one with like a radio DJ that was just fucking sick.
I think the third act of the movie is where it shines because it's fast, but it doesn't feel overwhelming.
It does. I do think it comes together quite nicely at the end. I think once it sort of figures out what it wants to say and what it wants to do, I think it makes it. I do think there's issues. Like I do think the Corey stuff. The main problem with the Corey stuff is it kind of just ends.
Yes.
Like it just all of a sudden. Oh, Corey's now I guess Michael Myers, and then he's killed pretty quickly.
He's a pretty shit Michael Myers.
Well, yeah, because he.
What? Okay, why does Corey gain superpowers at the end? Basically, like he's just like he goes from being Corey to being really shit at being a serial killer, which I thought was quite funny and cool. How shit he was at it.
See, yeah, and
then he becomes a fucking master at it.
I guess the idea is just when you become Michael, you take on.
Also, his dad seemed hype as fuck. He just fucking kills his dad. I mean, I know that he doesn't kill his dad. His
mom like is a freak. His mom's like, but then his dad seems pretty chill.
Yeah, his dad was just sitting there watching fucking movies on his gaming laptop.
Watching fucking, what was it, Hard Boiled or
something? Just on his fucking gaming computer.
Yeah, the fucking computer at work, and then like all of a sudden, like he has to go and help these kids who are dying.
And the kid just shoots him in the head because of like Corey's master plan or something.
Yeah, like it's a very haphazardly edited film.
Yeah.
Which is probably because I mean even
needed a few more drafts.
I was like, well, that's the thing. I don't know if it needed drafts. I think it just needed another edit.
Yeah.
I think it's one of them because I did read there were a lot of different test screenings.
Yes.
Of it, which were very different.
Yeah.
And it does feel like a film where maybe they didn't necessarily. Cause I remember reading like David Gordon Green in like July, August was still figuring out the ending.
That is mental.
Which I don't know
for a bloody franchise ender.
Yeah, and it's like I don't know if it was necessarily that he didn't do it yet, but it was more so I don't think he knew what ending to choose.
Yeah.
And so I am very interested to see when this movie eventually like gets like home media. Like, is there gonna be like a director's cut?
Yes.
Or is there gonna be like a lot of deleted scenes that people could edit into a new cut of the film that maybe flows? Yeah, like there'll be 100% deleted scenes because Halloween Kills did have like an extended cut, but it was nothing substantial. Yeah. It was like a different ending he filmed, but that was it. But it wasn't like anything crazy.
So my question now is, when do you think the next Halloween film will be, and what do you think it will be?
2030.
Yeah.
2030. Totally new remake.
Yeah.
A remake. Modern day.
Yeah.
Modern day remake. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, I'd
that's
say
it. I think it'll be very safe. Very safe, modern day, Halloween, maybe some like Scream-esque stuff in it.
Yeah.
Like maybe,
it'll be about whatever the 2030 equivalent of TikTok influence.
Yeah, like there'll be like it might be like Scream-esque in terms of like they might because to be fair, like was it H2O? H2O like was like ghost written by the screenwriter. So there's like a couple of Screamisms in it.
Yeah.
Like, and so they might do something like that where maybe there's a bit of like that. But I don't think. I mean, I do think this is the last Halloween with Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah, I agree.
It'll be the last one with her. It'll be the last. I think it's the last Halloween film as we know them.
Yeah, I think the next one will be its own timeline. Will be its own.
It'll be its own thing. I'll have Michael Myers, but maybe it'll be a totally different Michael Myers.
Yeah.
Like
different mask. Michael Myers.
Yeah, there might not be like the William Shatner mask that they always used. It might not even be that anymore. It might just be a totally new design. It'll be a totally new take. Totally, which to be honest, I welcome that.
It'll also be called Halloween.
Yeah.
Or the Halloween.
The Halloween. Halloween.
This Halloween.
Like, I mean, more Halloween beginnings. Halloween beginning.
Oh, Halloween beginnings would be
Halloween beginnings, Halloween middles, Halloween ends.
Halloween homecoming, Halloween far from home.